Welcome to Law Crest USA, the channel that turns complex law into simple truth. Today, we're re-diving deep into a serious and rarely discussed topic, decoity in the United States. What it really means, how the law defines it, the punishments involved, and how police and federal agencies investigate such organized violent crimes. Many people confuse dacoity with robbery or burglary, but in legal terms, dacoity refers to a group crime involving 5 or more people working together to commit robbery, armed theft, or violent intrusion. It's considered one of the most serious felonies under U.S. criminal law because it includes not only theft but also threat, violence, conspiracy, and gang activity. The idea is simple. When a single person commits a robbery, it's bad. But when a group plans and executes it, the danger to public safety rises dramatically, making it a federal-level concern. Under U.S. law, there isn't a specific statute called dacoity like in some other countries. But such crimes fall under multiple sections such as armed robbery, aggravated burglary, organized crime, and conspiracy to commit robbery. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives, ATF, and local law enforcement agencies all handle dacoity-related cases depending on the nature of the crime. For example, if a group of individuals armed with guns rob a bank or a cash transport vehicle, that becomes a federal felony under 18 U.S. Code Section 2113 bank robbery and incidental crimes. The gang crosses state lines or uses weapons obtained illegally. Additional federal charges apply, such as interstate conspiracy and firearms trafficking. Now let's talk about the punishment, and it's extremely harsh. For group robbery or organized armed theft, sentences range from 10 years to life imprisonment, depending on how violent the act was and whether anyone was injured or killed. If death occurs during the robbery, the offenders can even face the death penalty or life without parole, especially if firearms were used. The U.S. sentencing guidelines treat group criminal activities as aggravating factors, meaning that if 5 or more people plan a robbery, every participant gets a harsher punishment, even if they didn't personally commit violence. For example, a lookout or driver in a decoity can get the same punishment as the person who pulled the trigger because of the legal principle of conspiracy and joint responsibility. This principle ensures that no one in a criminal gang escapes justice just by claiming they didn't act directly. The investigation process in dacoity cases is equally intense. The moment law enforcement receives a report of a large-scale robbery or armed attack, multiple agencies jump in. Local police secure the scene, gather witness statements, and collect physical evidence, shell casings, fingerprints, surveillance footage, and vehicle information. Then, depending on the scope, the FBI or ATF take over for interstate or weapon-related offenses. Investigators use digital forensics, cell tower tracking, security camera networks, and even facial recognition technology to identify suspects. They also analyze phone records and financial transactions to trace any planning or communication among the group. If weapons were used, forensic labs match the bullet casings to known firearms in the national database. This high-tech investigation approach often leads to swift identification and arrest of suspects, especially since dacoity requires coordination, which leaves a digital footprint behind. Once suspects are arrested, federal prosecutors use a combination of charges to build the case: robbery, armed assault, conspiracy, possession of illegal firearms, and sometimes even racketeering RICO Act if it's linked to organized crime groups. The RICO Act 18 U.S. Code Section 1962 allows the government to target entire criminal organizations, not just individuals, making it one of the most powerful legal tools in modern law enforcement. Under RICO, if a gang commits multiple robberies or violent acts as part of a pattern, every member can face 20 years to life imprisonment, and all assets earned through crime are seized by the government. This includes cash, vehicles, property, and any valuables obtained through illegal activities. So, not only does the law punish the act of dacoity, but it also destroys the financial foundation of organized criminals. In addition to criminal punishment, restitution and recovery play a huge role in these cases. Courts often order the convicted offenders to repay victims for stolen property, damages, and medical costs. The Department of Justice, Deutsch, has a Victims of Crime Compensation Program, which helps victims recover part of their losses even before the culprits are convicted. When law enforcement recovers stolen assets, such as jewelry, cash, or vehicles, they are processed through evidence custody and later returned to rightful owners after court approval. 2. In high-profile cases like bank robberies, insurance companies also play a major role in the recovery process. Another key fact is that each participant in a dacoity is treated as equally guilty. So even if one person planned the crime and another just drove the getaway car, both are charged with the same felony because the crime was a joint act. The law sees it as collective intent, meaning everyone involved shared responsibility. For this reason, the minimum sentence for such crimes can be extremely high, often 10 years without parole, and with enhancements for using firearms, causing injury, or targeting federal institutions. To give you real context, let's look at some famous cases. In 2017, a group of 6 armed men robbed a jewelry store in California, stealing goods worth millions. They coordinated via encrypted messaging apps, used stolen cars, and disguised themselves with fake police uniforms. The FBI tracked them down within weeks using cell tower triangulation and surveillance camera data. Each of them received between 15 to 25 years in federal prison. And their families lost the luxury homes and cars bought with stolen money. Another case in Texas involved a gang that robbed armored trucks across multiple states. The court applied interstate conspiracy and RICO charges, resulting in life sentences for the leaders and 25 years for the associates. These examples show that in America, the justice system treats organized robbery as a direct threat to national security and economic stability. When it comes to defense, lawyers often argue lack of intent, coercion, or mistaken identity. But these defenses rarely succeed if there's clear evidence of planning or communication among members. The prosecution builds its case on hard evidence, call logs, texts, weapons, vehicles, and witness testimonies. In modern times, almost every robbery leaves behind digital evidence, making it very hard for criminals to escape conviction. The impact on victims is also a crucial part of dacoity cases. Beyond the financial loss, victims often suffer trauma, fear, and long-term stress. That's why American law strongly focuses on victim rights and recovery, ensuring emotional and psychological support through state-funded programs. Now, let us address a common question. Is dacoity the same as robbery or burglary in the USA? The answer is no. Robbery involves taking property through force or intimidation from a person or place. Burglary is unlawfully entering a building to commit theft. Dacoity, or group robbery, combines both but adds organization, planning, and violence by multiple offenders. So it's treated as a higher-level multi-agency crime. In summary, dacoity in the United States, though not mentioned by name in statutes, is one of the most severe crimes under federal and state law. It triggers investigations from multiple agencies, carries decades-long prison sentences, and often results in the seizure of all criminal assets. 2. It's a reminder that when crimes are organized and violent, the justice system becomes equally powerful and organized in response. So the next time you hear about a group robbery or large-scale armed theft, understand that it's not just a local crime, it's a federal felony. And everyone involved faces years, if not a lifetime, behind bars. Justice in America may move step by step, but when it catches up, it hits hard. This is Law Crest USA, making the law clear, powerful, and real. Subscribe and stay informed, because knowing your rights and laws isn't just knowledge, it's protection.